We're standing in front of this beautiful 1929 new Standard Biplane, and I'm with Rob Locke. And Rob, you're a great big tall guy, and
well, I'm told that I would fit in real well here in Indiana, being that I'm this tall, and this is the home of basketball, or so they claim. But yeah, I played a little bit of the round ball in my day.
Which came first, basketball or flying for you?
Well, a little bit of both. I grew up around aviation. My father taught in A&P school for 31 years, and I kind of grew up around airplanes. He had a little airplane called an Aranca Champ, and it was a two-place tandem airplane. And he taught me how to fly that when I was maybe 14. Of course, I wasn't old enough to fly it, but when the time came when I was 16, I sold the airplane, and so my flying career really began when I was 14.
Pro ball with the Los Angeles Clippers?
Yeah, I played at the University of Kentucky, and yeah, I did play in the NBA for a year, and overseas in Italy and Spain for another 8 years.
Rob, how did a basketball player turn into a barnstormer?
Long story. Well, there's a publication called Biplane, and I was in Italy playing basketball at the time, and my father called me, and he said that he had finally found an airplane that I could fit in. And I said, well, what is it? And he told me, and I had never heard of it. So he went up to Oregon, where it was at, and was in the back of a 18-wheeler, where it had been stored since years. And the last time the airplane had flown was in 1948. So I purchased the remains of this airplane in 1990, and we stored it for another 5 years. And then 1995 and rolled around, and the restoration on it began. And it was a ground up. The pieces that I got, we used for patterns mostly. We had to use some original parts, but my father built the wings just about from scratch using all new wood, and I hauled the fuselage to New Hampshire from California in a U-Haul.
Very rare airplane. How many's flying right now?
There's currently 4 flying in the world, and this one here is the 5th one produced originally and is the oldest in existence. There are 13 of these aircraft altogether still around, and with 4 flying, that means there's several more out there in various stages of restoration. So they're very valuable because you can get 4 people in them at one time, but it's on the other hand, it's a very rare airplane.
Horsepower?
This is a 235 horsepower Wright Whirlwind. Charles Lindbergh used the J5 engine to power the Spirit of St. Louis across the Atlantic in 1927, and this is the next generation improvement from that. It's the J6, and they call it the J67 because it has 7 cylinders. So there's ample power. This engine produces plenty of power to get this airplane flying, as you witnessed when you flew in it.
We just took a ride, and we're flying along at 75 miles an hour, so you're just hanging out there. I mean, what a view.
Yeah. Well, the airplane has a 45-foot wingspan, and it's really not a function of the engine. It's the function of how much lift is produced by that huge upper wing. And when we take off, our ground speed is maybe around 40 miles an hour or less if we have a headwind. And it's a big old slow slug is what it is. But as far as fun, it's certainly off the scale.
Here at the Fly-In Cruise In, great opportunity for a family. You're going to be taking rides. What can people expect from a ride in this airplane?
Well, again, I can get 4 people in the front cockpit at one time. It's a 5-place open cockpit plane, and it was designed to do what I'm doing back 72 years ago. And it was designed for the barnstormers that were crisscrossing our country, giving people the experience of flying. So we take off out of Marion here, and I have 4 happy adults in the front, and we go out and do some shallow turns and some steep turns, and maybe a couple of lazy 8s if people are so inclined, and then and then we can look at Marion on the way back towards the airport. So all in all, from start to finish, we try to give everybody about a 20-minute ride.
Just a great opportunity for a family to come out and share something together.
Yeah, it really is. This is something they can do together, that they can experience together, and that they can talk about forever that they did that together.
Well, Rob, we really appreciate you sharing this airplane. A lot of people took a ride today on this wonderful new Standard Biplane, and we hope to see you back at some future fly-ins.
Well, I'd love to bring the airplane back. It's a dream of mine to let others experience what I experience every time I step in it and get to fly it. So I hope that everybody enjoyed their ride with Waldo Wright, and we'll hope to see you sometime soon.